Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask Doc Live. My name is Rebecca Kozak, and I am going to be your host for the next 2 hours. I am joined with my amazing co-hosts who help make this whole program run smoothly, with John T. McCollier, also the website master of AskDocLive.com. We have Nasima Omar and Ruth Ellen Sanchez all helping. And for those of you who are on live with us, make sure you check out the chat. I know that if you don't know it's there, you're not going to see all of the helpful information that Ruth Ellen and Nasima are putting in that chat. But if you are watching the replay, that's okay. You can get with the person that invited you to this program, and they will provide information on how to get the products that you are needing to help you obtain optimal health. Now, in this program, it is to provide educational information only on the importance of nutrition and supplementation in a world where the food supply is empty and void of what the body needs, not just to survive, but to thrive. And in this program, we'll be sharing those nutritional options that we have found to be the most absorbable and used by the body that actually help give results. They can be absorbed, they can be utilized, and the best part about it, the man who put the research into most of the formulations of these products is here with us today. Now, the FDA requires us to let you know that our products are not meant to treat, prevent, diagnose, or cure any diseases, and this program is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. But we bring you good news. The genetic theory has been proven incorrect, and through the science of epigenetics, which is the study of how your behaviors and environment can change the way that your DNA works, epigenetics empowers you, the individual, to take control. And you have more control than you think. And we're going to be providing information for you today to help you take control and to guide us. We are absolutely honored to have one of the founding fathers of epigenetics, Dr. Joel Wallach. Dr. Wallach, welcome to Ask Doc Live.
Well, thank you so much for the kind introduction, Rebecca, and thank you for the entire team. And good morning, entire team. And we have lots of stuff going on, and it's the information is very useful in saving yourself. Let's just start there. What I want to talk about today is the false information that drives us in the wrong direction, which cost us 25 to 50 years of our life. If you do everything right, you'll add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. Why would you not want to spend 25 to 50 more years with the people you love? Why would you not want to spend 25 to 50 more years doing the things you love to do? It doesn't take much effort, but it does take awareness. I think that's probably important here. It does take awareness. When you look at this morning's figures from the COVID, and I hate to keep dwelling on that, but it's a fact. And when you look at this morning's figures on COVID, as of this morning, early, we had 741,898 dead. Now, what does that mean? 741,898 dead, that's in 18 months. Now, in 2 years, 1918, 1919, and the Spanish flu in America, we had 675,000 dead. So subtract 675,000 from 741,898, you have 66,898, almost 67,000 more dead in 18 months than we had in 2 years during the Spanish flu. All right, there's a problem here. And we had vaccinations earlier than they had in the Spanish flu. Well, the medical system banked the survival of America, banked your survival, the survival of your relatives, your loved ones, your teammates, your church mates and temple mates and all this kind of stuff. Doctors bet everything on vaccinations. Well, vaccinations today aren't working as good as they did in 1797 when Edward Jenner came up with the first vaccination, which was for smallpox. And he noticed that the milkmaids had cowpox on their hands and they never got smallpox. They were the ones who always survived because they never got. And so he took one of his farmhands' sons, who was 9 years old, scratched him, put some of that pus from the milkmaid's cowpox into those scratches. And a couple months later, when the smallpox came through their farm village, that kid was one of the few kids that didn't get smallpox. And so that was the beginning of vaccinations. That was Edward Jenner, a little country doctor in England in 1797. Well, today we're not doing very well. Okay, we're not doing very well when it comes to vaccinations. We're getting all these breakthrough infections. Even one of our U.S. Supreme Court judges, let's see, he got a breakthrough infection. Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, he had two, vaccinations a month apart, and thought he was in good shape, and he wound up with COVID, and so he can't be in there. He's got to vote remotely because he can't be in with all the other judges and pass on the COVID to them. And so we have in our hospitals, there's so many people in the hospitals now with COVID, despite the vaccinations. They have to rent vans and that sort of stuff to put people in because they don't have enough beds in the hospitals. 93% of the people in the hospitals are unvaccinated. 35% are kids under the age of 12 now, because the kids' infections are going up and up and up and up and up very rapidly, because they were thought to be sort of more immune to it, but not really. Well, let's look at and see why. Let's compare us with India. This is this morning's figures from India, and they have 1.3 billion people. They have 5 times the population we do. We have 332 million. They have 1.3 billion. They have 34,041,000, let's see here, 691 infections. We have 45,639,563 infections. Okay, so we have about 11 million more infections than they do in India, despite them having 5 times the population. We have 741,898 dead. And they only have 451,906 dead. We have 300,000 more dead than they have. So what's going on here? Well, it's a diet thing. It's a diet thing. It has to do with, and they don't have nearly the percentage of vaccinated people as we do. And so it's a diet thing. We got to go back over 100 years ago. Again, you appreciate that for 100 years, England occupied the northern 9 states of India for over 100 years. And this was to draft all their young boys so they could fight the English wars all over the world. So they didn't have to draft the English boys, they drafted the Indian boys, okay? And they also, in addition to occupying the northern 9 states, the English taught the people in those 9 northern states to grow wheat, barley, rye, and oats, to eat and drink wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Whereas the southern 20 states and the 7 territories of India, they only have 5% of the deaths. In the northern states, they have 95% of the deaths. In the southern states, they have in the southern states, they have 17% of the infections. In the northern states, where the English occupied them for 100 years, they have, let's see here, it's like 87% of the infections. And so why is it so different? They're homogenous people. It's not like us. We have 50 different countries here in USA with all the people from all these other immigrants coming in from all these other countries and diets and lifestyles and all this kind of stuff. In India, they're very homogenous, but that northern 9 states where the English occupied for 100 years, they just live on wheat, barley, rye, and oats. In the South, they eat like Asians. They eat rice and corn and sweet potatoes. And of course, they eat a lot of beans and squash and seaweed, where they don't do that in the North. And so that's why there's this vast difference in rate of infections and deaths between the northern 9 states and the southern 20 states and 7 territories in India. Well, we need to take a lesson from that, okay? We need to eat like Asians and stop eating like the English, stop eating like the Europeans. And when you look at it, let's look at the next series of figures. Let's look at the average lifespans, which is a great way to evaluate how successful people are. Remember, we rank 48th in the world when it comes to longevity. There's 47 other countries. This is from the CDC, our Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization. This is the most recent figures. We rank 48th in the world when it comes to longevity. There's 47 other countries whose people live longer than us. We got the best medical system in the world. That's not true. Okay, we rank 48th in the world when it comes to longevity. When it comes to, this is the one that freaked me out, when it comes to infant mortality, when it comes to saving our kids from dying before 2 years of age, we rank 29th in the world. There's 28 countries who do better at taking care of their babies than we do. Somebody needs to go to jail here, okay? This is terrible, terrible, terrible information, again, from the CDC and the World Health Organization. This is the most recent stuff. Now let's look at Japan. Their average lifespan is 84. Our average lifespan is 75. They live 9 years longer than we do. And of course, the human life expectancy is 155. When you look at the Philippines, their average lifespan is 69.6. And so they're not doing very good. They're leaving 85 years on the table. Australia, their average lifespan is 83. They live 8 years longer than we do. When you look at the New Zealand, they live 82. They live 7 years longer than we do. You look at the UK, our parent country, who eats nothing but wheat, bread, and rhinos, they live to be 81. They live 6 years longer than we do. And let's see here. Oh, in Hunza, they're the longest lived culture on Earth. They're a little country that primarily in the Shangri-La Valley, halfway between Pakistan and China. And there was a book in 1929 written about the Lost Horizon, and a movie that came out in 1933, which was a movie of the book. Lost Horizon was written by James Hilton, who is a New York Times and London Times investigative reporter. There was a doctor running around between Pakistan and China and Europe by the name of Li Chen Yun. And he was claiming to be 180 years old and selling his herbs. He says, if you take my herbs, you'll live to be 180 like me, and blah, 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 blah. And so the New York Times, the London Times sent James Hilton to follow this guy and see if he was a charlatan and a crook and fake and all that kind of stuff. And he followed him for almost 2 years. And he said, this guy's real, because he checked every place he was for, the last 150 years and so forth. That was him. Okay. And he had photographs of him as soon as the cameras were available and everything. So he came up and made a book and a movie out of it, Lost Horizon. And the people in Hunza are still there. Their average lifespan is 120. And when you look at their longevity, okay, the longest lived ones live to be 165, 168, 170, that kind of stuff, almost like Li Chen Yun. And that's because they live near this glacier, the Gilgit Glacier, and it grinds up all the rocks in the canyons it comes through and so forth. Now, when you look at India, India is very interesting. Their average lifespan is 70. Okay, so we live 5 years longer than them. But there's another piece here to the Indian story. In India, they have the Arabian Sea, which is on their southern border, kind of like the Gulf of Mexico is with us. Okay, so the Arabian Sea is to India as the Gulf of Mexico is to the USA. And they have the worst record in the world when it comes to dead zones. They have 66,700 square miles of dead zones in the Arabian Sea. And so I just asked Siri, hey Siri, does India have any glaciers? Because it's the moraines, okay, the little dams in front of the glaciers that, are made from silt and sand and gravel and all that kind of stuff that block or redirect the food to the algae, which is required to make oxygen. Now, I looked at it, and all these mass die-offs going back 2 billion years ago, I would say going back 2 billion years ago, we know this from fossils and all this kind of stuff. These mass die-offs, thousands and thousands of species. The trilobites alone had 25,000 different species of trilobites, and they were around for 100 million years. They're the most successful of all organisms ever living on Earth, the trilobites. But they went away 100,000 years, they all died out. And then here's all these empty valleys. Now, because all these animals, all these thousands of species died, and dinosaurs are looking, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at all these empty valleys. So they moved down into those valleys. And that's when the dinosaurs all died out over the next 100,000 years, because they're in those same valleys that had the same glaciers. Okay, because the glaciers were damming up the foods. And so the algae could not make oxygen. Every time there was a mass die-off, some species of animals died. And there was 12 sort of pre-humans that came along. And between them, they lasted a couple 100 million years. Okay, but they all died out. And they all died out during ages of glaciation when the glaciers were there. So what is it about glaciers? Well, they dam up the food supply to the green plants. And one of the big ones happened 400 million years ago when the glaciers cut off the food supply to all the swamps in North America and Europe. Okay, and so all the algae died, and 83% of all coal is made from that dead algae, and 17% is made from dead peat moss, all from ages of glaciation. Well, when I asked Siri, how many glaciers are there? I never thought about glaciers in India. Was there any glaciers in India? And they said, and Siri said, there's 10,000 glaciers in India. What? Are these active glaciers? Siri, yes, there's 10,000 active glaciers in India right now. And they threw in sort of as a sub thing, they said, oh, and by the way, they have at least 2 moraines per glacier. Some have 3 and 4 moraines per glacier. So they have 20,000 moraines, 20,000 dams damming up the food supply in those big rivers in India, which were taking the minerals into the Arabian Sea. And that's why the Arabian Sea is dying and has a big dead zone. And so it began to make sense. Well, the same thing is true of the reef dying. Reefs are sort of a little mountain inside of a dead zone, and they require 2 organisms to maintain themselves, algae and polyps, okay? And we're talking about these polyps make and maintain the reefs. They take the minerals out of the ocean water and turn them into this sort of hard limestone reef. But they require an enormous amount of oxygen. And this is why they love the algae. And they make little holes for the algae to grow in, so they'll produce the oxygen for the polyps, okay, that actually make and maintain the reefs. This is a 2 organism community. Well, when you shut off the food supply to the algae with dams, human-made dams, like we did in the Mississippi River and the Missouri River and all their tributaries, we shut off the food supply to the algae in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's why we have a dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. Well, in India, they have these 10,000 glaciers, but they also have several 100,000 dams in India for water control, irrigation, hydroelectric, and all this kind of stuff. And so they shut off the food supply to the Arabian Sea, and that's why they have the biggest, because they have 10,000 glaciers and 10,000 dams. Okay, isn't that crazy? And so once you look at this, it all makes sense, and it's no mystery. And so it's not pollution, it's not global warming. And so I have a new CD out. I'm working on the book now. The CD, actually I have 2 new CDs. The CD for the subject here is Dr. Wallach's laws of photosynthetic disruption and global warming. And what I'm saying here is that all the mass die-offs occurred because of dams of one kind or another, either man-made dams, but the priority, most of them, 85, 90% of all the mass die-offs were caused by the dams that were caused by glaciers, the moraines. And once I figured that out, it just began, so, okay, well, how many glaciers does this country have? How many glaciers does this country? And it just all came together. So anyway, this CD goes into this history because I had to look up all the information for the book, so I might as well put it into a CD, which I did. Dr. Wallach's laws of photosynthetic disruption, global warming. Pollution has nothing to do with it. I repeat that, pollution has nothing to do with it. And global warming, because of carbon dioxide, has nothing to do with it. Fossil fuels have nothing to do with it. How many cars were there 100 million years ago? How many cars were there 400 million years ago? How many cars were there 2 billion years ago? None, 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 none. So that's a crapola theory, if I can use that French word, okay? And so it's one of those things where this is not difficult. Now, the next one, I actually gave a lecture. It was actually a Zoom with Scott Ferdulis in the Philippines, and he was very clever. He forwarded that Zoom to 8 Asian countries, which he has a lot of business in, including China and Japan and Taiwan, Singapore, Hong Kong, those kind of places, right? And I was speaking to millions of people when I was doing that Zoom. It was just crazy. Well, so he actually recorded it and edited it and everything, and made a wonderful CD called The Manchurian Prescription, a Brainwashing Prescription. I don't know if you know the stories of the Manchurians. They go back hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, but they were always sort of a devious bunch, okay? They're kind of like an anti-government political party, and they were always causing problems to the Chinese government. Manchurian, you heard of the movie, The Manchurian Candidate, okay, based on the same principle. Well, I didn't know this, but when he edited my talk, which is for about an hour long, he let me speak on the recording for, say, 2-3 minutes, and then he would put it in Mandarin for 2 or 3 minutes. And he'd put me on for 2 or 3 minutes. He'd put Mandarin for 2 or 3 minutes. Me for 2 or 3 minutes, and Mandarin for 2 or 3 minutes. So instead of being an hour, it's a 2-hour long thing, but it's a mix of English and Chinese. Okay. So anybody who wants to have a business in Chinatown or a Chinese acupuncture clinic or a Chinese school or any of the Chinese restaurants in any big city around the world, they need to get this CD and use that to encourage them to join us in Youngevity and get the information, because these small Chinese communities in Europe and the United States and Chinatowns are dying, okay, because people don't have the money to go out and eat and pay for parking and all this kind of stuff. And so they're being impacted more than someplace like McDonald's, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's more expensive to eat in a Chinese restaurant, which everybody like to do, say once a week or once a month or something like that. But now they're all closing down because there's no traffic. Well, if somebody is interested, they need to take this Manchurian, let's see here, the Manchurian prescription, and take this and put, the little sticky thing on there with their phone number on it, their ID number, and sit and talk to these people and listen to a couple of minutes with it, maybe 10-15 minutes, and show them how it works and so on. And believe me, they will listen to it because it's in Chinese. And we will be able to encourage a growth sector in Youngevity in the Chinese community, which we haven't been able to do yet. Well, now's our time, because they are being hit real hard by this pandemic. It's very, very bad. Okay, so with that, let's see here. I'm going to turn this over to you, and we can start taking some questions, or I can answer some, other issues for you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. It's always good to know what's going on around the world and how things are affected. And so I really find it interesting that, millions, billions years ago, when you cut off the mineral flow, everything downstream
died.
Yeah, it just doesn't thrive. And for us, our food supply has been cut off from that mineral flow, which affects us personally because it's not in our food. And people just don't get it. They think, oh, well, I eat organic, I eat clean, or I eat raw.
Well, let me interject in there. Have you ever heard of the 4 food groups?
Yes.
That's the biggest killer in the world right now. Oh, I eat the 4 food groups. I eat well. Okay. Well, there you go. Because plants only need 3 elements from the soil: NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. When you look at the analysis of all commercial fertilizer, all they have in them is NPK. Okay. And so it's one of those things where when you look at it, we're in trouble because of NPK, because plants don't have the nutrients they used to have in them. And I forgot to say this, it all came about because of electricity. Prior to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, okay, we were using wood for fuel in our wood stoves and our fireplaces and fire pits outside, and light, and you name it. We were using wood for fuel, and straw, and coal, and all kinds of stuff for fuel. And the ashes we would put into the garden. Now the ashes had minerals in it that were in the algae and in the wood and all that kind of stuff, because trees and algae would suck up all these minerals. When you burn them, the ashes were 95% minerals and only 5% carbon. Okay, if the really good wood ashes are snow white. They're not black or gray or anything like that. They're snow white because all the carbon had been burnt out of them. Okay, but they have whatever minerals the tree sucked up. Now, do you think the sequoia trees only sucked up 3 minerals? No, they needed 20 nutrients for the photosynthesis to take place, 20 nutrients. You can have plenty of sun and plenty of chlorophyll, but without those 20 nutrients, you're not going to get photosynthesis. Those trees, those sequoia trees, you know, they're like small ones are 3 tons, big ones are 30 tons. I mean, these are huge places. Where did that wood come from? All that wood came from the carbon dioxide in the air. The leaves in those trees, starting when they're little bitty baby ones, you know, 6 inches tall, they're converting carbon dioxide into wood. That's where all the wood in trees comes from. Okay, got it? Well, those trees suck up all these minerals out of the soil because the chlorophyll and chloroplasts needed those minerals, okay, to convert carbon dioxide into wood and into oxygen. Isn't that crazy?
Well, I think that it's super fascinating because when you think about a tree, everything that's above kind of resembles what's down under, and it goes down deep. And the nice thing about the trees and the plants is they can actually absorb those metallic minerals, converting them into a form that we can actually utilize, and putting that ash out into the wherever the food is growing is going to be replenishing that topsoil. Because I think I've done a lot of driving, Dr. Wallach, over the last week, and to see, you know, thousands and thousands of acres that have been planted, I'm trying to visualize, okay, how are those minerals that plant is taking out of the ground being, you know, replenished?
Yeah, and are they making oxygen? See, if they're getting all 20 nutrients, they'd be making oxygen. But if they're only getting 3 nutrients, they're not making oxygen anymore.
Right, and it can be in the ground, but it's going to be depleted because it's continually being sucked out. So I personally have felt the effects of what it feels like to be sick and mineral deficient, and then to get the minerals flooding into my body and how fabulous it is. It's like adding life. Just, you know, it's wonderful, Dr. Wallach. And the fact that you, you know, discovered this at such a young age and have
9 years old. Yeah, I was 9. Yeah.
Yes, and you've just made it your life passion to make sure that people get this information. It blows me away because you've come up against a lot of hurdles, a lot of people not agreeing with you. And
well, some of them are pretty dramatic. You know, I found the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis, and they fired me from the European Primate Center. He said, well, that's a genetic disease. He said, no, it's not. Here's all the evidence. They fired me. And that's when I went back to school and became a physician. And then I learned how to prevent and cure muscular dystrophy. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to use that word, but it's true. I know how to prevent and cure. Take me to court. I'd love to be on a front page on a court thing. Let them pay for the advertising, right? But at any rate, muscular dystrophy is a very easy disease to prevent and cure. And then I'm the guy who also got rid of sudden death syndromes. I can prevent, I can't cure it because they're dead, but I can prevent sudden death syndrome. It's just hypertrophic cardiomyopathy heart disease. And it's not the mothers laying on the babies. 98% of the babies that were diagnosed with sudden death syndrome were dead in their cribs, and the mother wasn't in the crib with the baby when they died. Okay, and so this is I'm the guy who discovered the cause, prevention, and cure of cystic fibrosis and muscular dystrophy. I'm the guy who found the cause and prevention of sudden death syndrome, And I haven't had one medical school, one naturopathic school, one veterinary school, one pharmacy school, one nursing school. I haven't had one of them say, why don't you come give us a lecture on this? I'd done it for free.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's criminal. It's criminal. What they're trying to do is protect their issues, because the first thing they teach medical students in pre-med and medical school is, if you cure a patient, you lose a customer. It's the first thing out of the instructor's mouth. What you want to do is maintain them and treat their symptoms and make them happy. And that way they'll be happy for 20, 30 years. If you give them the cure, they won't do it. And so you have to be smarter than the patient. Don't give them the cure. Give them something that's going to keep their pain away, and then they'll stick with it.
And that's where I was, Dr. Wallach. They had given up. They said that there was nothing that could be done other than manage pain, because surgery terrified me. I saw what it did to my aunt. There was absolutely no way I was going down that road.
Well, see, you're smarter than an average bear.
So yeah, but I encourage everybody here today with us, Dr. Wallach, to share this program with somebody that you love. And if all of us could start sharing this information, then I just see a tidal wave of better health.
Absolutely.
It's fabulous. I mean, because you can't put garbage in and expect, a fantastic
outcome. Diamond to come out. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you put these minerals into the body and give the body what is needed by design, the design just works so smooth, so fabulous. It goes up, you feel younger, you look younger.
Yeah, we'll give God all the credit, and God made remarkable organisms, and he built them in such a way they could be self-renewing and all this, that, and the other. And it's we that screw it up.
Yeah. Well, because think about it, Dr. Wallach, we start from like this tiny little cell that's an egg that
you can't even see it.
Yeah, you can't even see it. And it develops into what we are here today, and we're continually regenerating. So as we continually regenerate, depending on the fuel that those cells have when they're regenerating, determines the outcome.
Yeah. Well, a good visual.
Yeah,
good visual, Rebecca, is an egg, a chicken egg or a duck egg, either one. And you crack that egg open raw, and on top of the yolk is this little white dot about a millimeter in diameter, right? That's the chick. You can take that chick off, and everything in that yolk and the white of the egg is nothing but nutrition. Now, in that egg, in 21 days, that little chick that's a millimeter in diameter will eat all that yolk and all the white of the egg and make a heart and a liver and a kidney and a brain and blood vessels and muscles and bones and lungs and all, and thyroid glands and adrenal glands and testicles and ovaries, all from that yolk and the white of the egg. And anybody who says, oh, those eggs will kill you if you eat eggs, didn't kill that chick in 21 days. Just think of how remarkable that is. You take an organism, there's two cells, and it's grown to hundreds of cells or thousands of cells. It's a millimeter in diameter. And in 21 days, it eats all of that yolk and white in the egg and becomes a chick with all these organs and tissues and function, eyes and everything, from all the nutrition in an egg. You can't tell me that an egg is bad.
No, when it goes from an egg to full life, breathing, walking, reproducing, how can that be bad? And it's natural. It's not man-made.
That's correct.
It's so fascinating. And I hope that all of you here with us get it, or help somebody else get it. That, processed foods where they take all the nutrients out and then throw some stuff together, make it quick and easy, you're not getting the nutrition that your body needs. So I really, really encourage you to help people see the light and understanding that nutrition is so important if you want a better tomorrow. And the food doesn't have it, so you have to supplement.
Well, you hit the secret right on the head here, Rebecca. you have to eat well, avoid the bad foods, all the inflammatory foods and all the bad foods, gluten, so you can absorb the nutrients, absorb, avoid gluten. And then you need to take the 90 essential nutrients, that's health insurance. Just think of the 90 essential nutrients as health insurance, because you're guaranteeing you're going to get the nutrients you need. Because if you're just eating the 4 food groups and eating well, you can't guarantee that, because the farmer gets paid not by how much nutrition's in the food. The farmer gets paid by tons and bushels per acre. So he just wants the cheapest way to get those tons and bushels, which is NPK. And then his livestock, his cows and sheep and pigs and chickens and so forth, he gives all the vitamins and minerals to, because he knows there's nothing in the wheat, barley, rye, and oats, because he only put NPK in them.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need more than NPK, folks. That's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. We need so much more, and not in a metallic form, because some of those metals that are heavy, they can be toxic. We need it in a form that the body can actually utilize and feed. So Dr. Wallach, the longevity products and how they're formulated, the raw ingredients that go into them, the uncompromised quality that goes into them. I know sometimes if you compromise on quality, then you're going to have your flow of inventory and you're not going to have any breaks. But whenever you are so adamant about making sure those raw ingredients are quality, then there's going to be
well, we do not settle for anything. We do not settle for anything less, Rebecca, than perfect.
Well, and I think everybody needs to realize they deserve that, Dr. Wallach.
Everybody deserves perfect.
So when you think about it, okay, is your health worth $3, $5, $10 a day?
An extra 25, 50 years, absolutely.
Yeah, it was, and I was talking with an individual. They're looking at a procedure that's going to cost $160,000. And it's something, Dr. Wallach, that you have worked with people. I've worked with people. They've completely overcome it for $400 a month. And it blows me away that they would be willing to spend so much money on a procedure that isn't going to address the underlying cause.
Yeah, well, see, that's why actually health insurance is one of the worst things for human health, because people say, well, I can do whatever I want because if I get sick, health insurance will pay for it. Yeah. That is a common attitude. And don't worry about it. This procedure is $100,000, but don't worry about it because insurance will pay for it. Okay, let's do it. They don't even think of it for 30 seconds. They don't even think, well, is there another way to do this without the surgery? Because insurance will pay for the surgery.
Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful that, I had surgery. I just said no. I mean, even though I had, insurance, I just said no. And I'm so thankful for that because I don't need it. I was able to use the supplementation, Dr. Wallach, that you put together, that you recommended, and now I have no limitations. And I thank you for that. I thank God for putting you here on earth and giving you the wisdom and the forethought. And I thank you, Dr. Wallach, for using the gift that you were given to gift and benefit and bless the rest of us. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you again for all the kind words. And again, I give God all the credit and why he chose me to figure all this out and or at least understand what he was trying to tell me. I don't know why, but he chose me. And so I'm very thankful and I feel responsible. And that's why I work so hard.
Yeah, well, and we appreciate your work is not going in vain. That's for sure. Oh, well, thank you, everybody. Again, you are watching Ask Doc Live. This program is being brought to you by AskDocLive.com. So if you are finding this on your own, nobody shared this program with you, you have not spoken to anybody ever about longevity or Dr. Wallach or the products that we will be talking about today, then feel free to go to AskDocLive.com.
They can get
But
these CDs from you too, right? The CDs and books and things.
yes, so we have your most popular publications on our website. For a lot of the CDs and the multi-packs, you want to go to drjwallach.com and you'll find all of Dr. Wallach's publications there directly from his distribution. So lots of fabulous stuff, Dr. Wallach. I love it. And I love the fact that for those of you who are distributors and want to use the publications to do the talking for you, these CDs are fabulous. And you can even pay a little bit extra and have your information put right on that CD, ready to hand out and ready to go. Now, Dr. Wallach, I think that we need to go to the first hand.
Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So the first guest that we have with us today, I'm going to go ahead and get him to unmute, is Robert. Robert, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, I'm looking for my camera button. Let's see.
Okay, Robert, how can we help you, sir?
I've been on your program for keto weight loss, lost 20 pounds. Thank you.
Thanks for the testimony.
Lost 20, yeah. Still working on losing my gut, so I could use some help there. But I got my blood, my hair analysis back. It's high in arsenic, and maybe that arsenic is affecting my health. So I'm wondering what to do about that.
Okay, how much do you weigh, Robert?
148.
Okay, and how old are you?
68.
Okay.
6.
I'm sorry. You're 68?
66.
Oh, 66, okay. And then, let's see, how tall are you?
5'9".
Okay, do you have any varicose veins, spider veins, or hemorrhoids?
I do not.
Okay, the reason why I'm asking, you have some dashing white hair that makes you look like a sage, right? You know, a lot, people who have white hair say, oh, well, he's got, a lot of experience.
Been so blonde all my life. I think it's starting to get darker being on your program.
Okay, yeah, you should see an increase in color. How long have you been on the program?
More than 6 months.
Okay. And yeah, you should be seeing color coming back in your hair, especially if you're really, adamant about avoiding wheat, butter, rye, oats, gluten, so you can maximize absorption. Gray hair is not due to age. Gray hair, spider veins, varicose veins, and hemorrhoids are due to the same deficiency that causes gray hair, and also ruptured aneurysms in the brain and the heart and the aorta and so forth. So white, gray, and silver hair is a red warning light you need to pay attention to. And so I'm going to, say what you should be taking here. Do you have any other issues, any diabetes or high blood pressure, or arthritis, anything like that?
Low thyroid.
Thyroid, okay.
Fatigue.
And fatigue. Okay. All right. Do you have any idea where you might be getting arsenic from?
Salmon. Maybe seaweed, mushrooms.
No. Do you eat fruit?
I've been off fruit for this keto diet. I do.
But did you eat fruit before the keto diet?
Yeah, I grow my own fruit.
Okay. Well, one of the things you find in insecticides that they put on fruit trees and fruit, everything from pumpkins to oranges and apples and bananas and pomegranates and things like that. Many of the, especially in the European countries in the third world, the insecticides for fruit trees contain arsenic. And so when you're eating fruit from, that are imported from foreign places, you're getting arsenic. That's where you're getting the arsenic from. So,
well, my trees, all my stuff on my property is organic. I don't put spray on anything.
So you never eat any food that you don't grow?
Boy, some of it, but I buy the organic stuff.
It doesn't matter. They have neighbors, and this tree sucks it up from the underground water because of their neighbors. Okay, you're getting it from somewhere. So here we go. 148 pounds once you get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no butter, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet ones got to go. I want you to also take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, the full dose of everything twice a day. 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month has 215 nutrients in it, including the base of the Healthy Start Pack, which is the original 90 essential nutrients, plus all the other new ones. And then I want you to get our MSM, take 3 of those 3 times a day. That'll be 2 bottles a month. They will support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone, makes your bone itself. And it also help your body work to make the thyroid happy. And then for the thyroid gland, I want you to take 3 of our Fucoid Z capsules twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. The Fucoid Z is made from 8 or 9 different algae from the ocean. And then I want you to take 3 of our Ocean's Gold twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's from the other ocean. And they have 8 or 9 different algae in there from the other ocean. And this, usually within weeks, the thyroid gland really kicks in and starts working properly. And because not only, you're probably not getting the things that all the thyroid needs, as well as the arsenic, which can be a negative for the thyroid. And so one of my first scientific papers was written on a mass die-off that was caused by pollution dealing with the thyroid gland. And so that was my first scientific paper written. It was dealt with 500 dead. Okay. And so that's what got the $25 million grant, which I did my 20,000 autopsies on, to, be one of the founders of the science of epigenetics. So if you do all that, let's start there. And for energy, I want you to use our Rebound or Sports Drink. It comes in 6 individual servings. We got 30 individual servings in a box. It comes in canisters with a scoop, and it also comes in cans. Guy, your weight, you can have 2. I weigh 142, and I have 2 servings a day of the Rebound. It was actually made for Olympic athletes and professional athletes. I mean, tens of thousands of athletes all over the world use this Rebound thing for energy, because it's not just sugar, water, okay, or caffeine. It has 100 nutrients in it, 75, 78 minerals, and also 25 vitamins, amino acids. So this is something that you want to add to your program. And so that covers the thyroid, that covers your body's needs, including your liver and your kidney. And do you have any high blood pressure or kidney issues?
I do not.
Okay, good. All right, let's go with that. Call us every couple of weeks, because your issues are red warning lights. And my concern is, that the same things that cause white gray and silver hair, varicose veins, spider veins, that kind of stuff, also causes ruptured aneurysms in the brain, coronary arteries, and also. I'm getting my echo. Echo. Okay, thank you, John T. Any rate, so this is got to get rid of the bad stuff, take all the good stuff, and within weeks you're going to notice a huge positive difference. But you got to stay away from the bad stuff. Everybody in your family, you cannot be anybody in your household, loved ones, roommates. Nobody can be eating gluten, because you'll get cross-contaminated in the laundry and also in the food preparation surfaces, the couches where people watch TV, and the rugs and the beds and all that kind of stuff. And so you really, really, really have to watch the gluten issue. Okay, back to you, Rebecca.
All right, Dr. Wallach, and hopefully I'm not the cause of that echo. But Sonia wrote in the chat, she's been in her supplementation. And her insomnia is getting better. I know sleep is a problem that so many people have an issue with, and not getting enough sleep, not able to fall asleep or stay asleep. But she has something that she's working on, and it's a keloid scar from after having a breast removed from cancer. She wants to know what she can do to help get rid of the scar or lessen it.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
Okay, I'm still getting this echo. Okay, that's better.
I will turn myself off in just a minute and let you go ahead. So she's 5'7", 70 kilograms, and I don't know exact weight.
That's about 100. That's about 100. That's about 150 pounds. And she's how tall?
She's 5'7". And she's 60 years old.
Okay. All right. Well, we just wish her all the best for the breast cancer issue. We'll keep our fingers crossed there. But in the meantime, she needs to get rid of all the bad stuff, all the fried foods, all the processed meats, all the oils, all the glutens, wheat, bran, rye, oats, all the sugar, all the carbonated drinks, all the things that gave her cancer, she's got to get rid of. Okay. Then at 150 pounds, I want her, and that's about right for 5'7" for a lady. I want her to take, excuse me, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 full doses a day. Okay. A full dose of breakfast and a full dose at dinner time. That's 2 full doses a day. And then I want her to have 2 bottles of the MSM. So you can take 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. 2/3 of the skin is made out of connective tissue. And so this is why I like to use the MSM for scars and injuries and burns and all kinds of stuff in the skin, eczema, psoriasis. We need the MSM. Also, I would like her to have let's see here. I would like her to use our Cal Toddy. I would have her take the Cal Toddy. I started out with 1/4 a month, say a ½ ounce at breakfast, ½ ounce at dinner time. And some people are really sensitive to the magnesium that's in the Cal Toddy. So if you get diarrhea, just cut it and just take a 1/4 of an ounce twice a day instead of a ½ ounce twice a day. But start out with a ½ ounce twice a day, but just maybe 5% of the people get a little diarrhea and gas or something because of the magnesium. So you got to cut it a little bit to begin with until your body gets used to it. And but the Cal Toddy has, as the name implies, calcium, vitamin D3 is also got collagen in there. I also, in addition to taking Cal Toddy, I also take the glucogel. I take 5 of those twice a day. And you know, my skin looks pretty good for an 83-year-old guy. I don't have any wrinkles and things like that. I have very little gray hair, a little bit in my mustache. And so I don't have any high blood pressure. I don't have any varicose veins or hemorrhoids or anything like that. And so anything that has to do with scar tissue, you want to be using all the things that support maintenance repair of connective tissue, scar tissue, that kind of stuff. And I also hair, skin, and nails. She wants to get our hair, skin, and nails. She can take 2 bottles of that a month, take 3 of those twice a day. And again, they're designed to deal with the skin, the hair, and obviously the fingernails and toenails. And then call us every couple of weeks because she will see a great benefit. And her story's a very common one. And so her testimony will be very useful for a lot of people. Over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Now, next we have coming in through email is from Stephanie. And she has a client who is a female, 49 years old, 5'5", 188 pounds. And this dear lady is in the first stages of colorectal cancer.
Colorectal.
Yep. It says it was all removed the cancer was all removed during surgery and no need for further treatment. Bowels had a leak when seeing backup and ended up with, oh goodness, an ileotomy. I think it's ILO.
An ileotomy, which is surgery.
Ileotomy. Yep, for 3 months. Reversal was on July 7th, and since then she's had a struggle with severe diarrhea, urgency, and frequency. She did have a foot of the sigmoid colon removed.
Okay, she doesn't have much intestines left. She's removing this part and that part and this part and that part. Okay, well, she's a gluten eater and she's paying the price because she's a gluten eater. Everybody in her home, including the dog, the cockroaches, everybody's eating gluten. Okay, she's got to get gluten out of her life and out of her family's life. She cannot be a cook in a fast food place. She cannot work as a waitress in a spaghetti factory. You understand? She's got to, I mean, she can't even say the word gluten. Everything she's got is because of gluten. No wheat, bran, rye, and oats, no fried foods, no processed meats, no gluten, no wheat, bran, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. And then At 188 pounds, I wanted to have 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want her to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so I can take 3 with breakfast, 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner time. That's going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, including the intestines and the colon and so forth. Then I also want her to have 2 or 3 of the ultimate enzymes, say 5 or 10 minutes before each meal. She's going to go through a couple of bottles a month of the ultimate enzymes. And so she needs that kind of help also. And that'll relieve a lot of symptoms and help her digest food better, so she can absorb it more efficiently, because the gluten reduces the absorption efficiency. Okay. Then I also want her to have, let's see here, the killer biotic, which is the reishi mushrooms and a half a dozen other mushrooms, support her immune system, which is very important here, and also relieve inflammation and pain. And then I want her to take 3 of those killer biotics at breakfast and 3 at dinner time. That's 2 bottles a month. I want her to have the Cell Shield RTQ, again, support the immune system and anti-inflammatory. She can take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And then the BTT 2.0 tablets, I want her to take 9 a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. It will support the immune system and also anti-inflammatory. Doesn't require 3 bottles a month. And she's in real danger here, because all of these bad things are progressing. She's not really had any intermission anywhere along the line, or, like 3 years of no problems. It's just continuous problems. And, the doctors are, using her like a bank account. They just keep, keep dipping into the funds, okay, because she has good insurance. And so we really need to help her interrupt this bad cycle, because she's gonna have to work on getting rid of all the bad stuff. She's gonna have to work on taking all the good stuff. And so when people have ongoing problems that have to do with diet and nutritional deficiencies, this program will help them immensely.
Absolutely. And when you've got digestive issues, you're not absorbing.
That's correct.
We really want to make sure that you get rid of everything that's preventing that absorption, so that the nutrients that you're putting in your body can actually do what they're meant to do. And the body can do what it's meant to do by absorbing the nutrients. So, oh goodness, my heart goes out to her. Well, Dr. Wallach, we are at the top of the, go ahead and take 5 minutes right now,
Okay.
and then we will be back with more questions. So everybody, thank you so much for being here with us on Ask Doc Live. I just want to remind you that if you were referred to this program by somebody specific, get back with them and ask the questions. Hey, how do I get the products that this doctor is talking about, that Dr. Wallach is talking about, that I heard about on Ask Doc Live? And they will be able to help you with directing you to how they get their products also. Now, again, if you have never spoken to anybody, you can go to our store at askdoclive.com and find all the products that Dr. Wallach will be mentioning today. Please, if you hear somebody has similar conditions, similar symptoms that you're going through, write down what Dr. Wallach is saying, because that's going to be what you will probably need as well. The body was designed with specific ingredients. We have to have that foundation in order to maintain or regain what the body is designed to be. So we'll be right back after a short 5-minute break. Don't go away. Get up, stretch, get you something to drink, and stay here with us. Ask Doc Live. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking here with us on Ask Doc Live. And I want to remind you that if you are watching this live with us and you miss something that Dr. Wallach is recommending to somebody, you can go to our website at askdoclive.com and you will find all of the replays from all of our programs since we started in July of 2020. So please, listen, And then you can go back to the replay and write down exactly what Dr. Wallach has recommended for either yourself, you're on live with us, or for someone with conditions that are similar to yours or someone you love. So this program is a resource that we want to make sure people are getting the information that they need to make sure that, they're able to function, or at least have the opportunity to function at optimal capacity. So I look like I am frozen on my end. I don't know if I am for everybody else, but we're going to go ahead and keep on going. Looks like Dr. Wallach is back with us. Dr. Wallach?
You are not frozen.
Oh, fantastic. I just love technology. Absolutely love it. So now we had a question come in the chat, Dr. Wallach. When it comes to digestive issues, is gluten the only thing that would cause digestive issues?
No. Gluten issues, of course, are important for absorption. The digestion issues, one of the biggest crimes is doctors tell people not to use salt because it's bad for the heart. That's absolutely, positively not true. Okay. Doctors kill more people by telling them not to use salt than the enemy has in all our wars put together. Salt is an essential nutrient. Sodium chloride is required by every cell in your body to function, do all their little biochemistries and everything. But also there's specialized cells in the walls of your stomach called chief cells, which take sodium chloride and make hydrochloric acid in your stomach to break down proteins into amino acids so you can absorb them. You can't absorb whole proteins, you can only absorb amino acids. The same way with absorbing iron and B12, you cannot absorb those things without stomach acid. So anybody who is avoiding salt, I hear this all the time, at restaurants. Well, I don't want any salt on my food. My doctor says it'll hurt my heart. That's absolutely nonsense. This goes back a couple hundred years ago when they were starting to get packaged foods and everything, and they were getting congestive heart failure and so forth, and people were getting a lot of edema in their legs. And they figured out that if you restricted salt for a while, it would speed up the loss of the edema in your legs. It's bad for your heart. So a couple hundred years ago, they started telling people, don't use salt because it's bad for your heart. Don't use salt, it's bad for your heart. It's just like sudden death syndrome. Mothers weren't laying on their babies. Cystic fibrosis wasn't genetic. Muscular dystrophy wasn't genetic. I mean, have you heard anything from the telethon in the last, say 10, 15 years about, big events to raise money to find the cause and cure for muscular dystrophy? No, because I figured it out a long time ago. Okay. And so, but we're going to ignore that. Just don't say anything. It'll, when Wallach dies, then we'll discover it. That's the way they think. Okay. And so, I'm sure how can he still be alive? He's 83 years old. Well, that's because I don't do the bad stuff, and I take 215 nutrients a day, including the 90 essential nutrients. I've been doing this since I was 9 years old. And so I hope that's sort of a roundabout way, but I hope that kind of answers the question.
All right. Yes, I think that it does, Dr. Wallach. Thank you so much for that. Now let's go ahead and go to the next hand that is up, and we have Sam. Sam, go ahead and unmute yourself. You are on live with Dr. Wallach. And before Sam comes on, I just want to let all of you know what a fabulous opportunity that we have here with Longevity and being distributors. I am actually on a 4,500 mile trip right now, and I loved the fact that I was able to meet Sam in person as part of this trip, and just connect with people that are like-minded, that have this passion to make sure that what you have found, Dr. Wallach, is being spread as the truth that's going to help our nation, our world, find better health. So, Sam, go ahead, my friend. It was so nice to meet you.
It was great to meet you. Great to see you. It was a great synchronicity, and there are no accidents. Remember that. There are no accidents. All right. So one thing I want to say quick, and then I'm going to introduce my client and guest. She has a question for you, Doc.
Okay, Sam.
I personally have been, following pretty much what you've been talking about since your tape that I first heard, right? And what I tell people, one of the reasons I'm so healthy is because I don't go to allopathic doctors unless I had a trauma. Why would I want to destroy myself? And that's all I'm going to say. I've known better for a long time. And now in the last 6 months, I've been back on continuously and taken up the challenge also to work with the help people. And one of the people I'm helping is my neighbor here, who is really becoming an advocate. And she has a question. Her father was a pharmacist. And
Okay.
And here I am. I'm
Barbara.
Barbara Bennett, and I'm wearing my dad's
Oh, yeah. Get your
pharmacy jacket
Get
to
your
honor
question.
my dad. He
Okay.
practiced pharmacy till
Okay.
he was 90.
question.
All right, Dr. Wallach, first of all, I want to say thank you because I know you're very knowledgeable, and that's all I have to say. And
Okay.
I'm gonna be brief because I don't want to take somebody else's time. So here I am. Okay. I've been on longevity for about 6 weeks. I had an interruption because I gave my bottles to somebody else. However, I take several medications. I'm going to be real quick. I take Symbicort, amlodipine, lamotrigine, gabapentin, oxybutynin, and tramadol for pain. Okay, so I had a very strange thing happen to me, and maybe you can
Stop.
Yeah.
All you told me was your prescriptions. What diseases do you have?
I'm bipolar. That's
Okay.
about the only, I don't, and I have a little bit high blood pressure. I have COPD. But other than that, I'm very, very healthy. I'm 74, weigh 186 pounds.
Okay,
I'm
stop
Sam's
there.
neighbor. Yeah.
Stop there a minute.
Yeah.
Now, because of the things you said, I have to ask you some follow-up questions here.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have any kidney issues? Are you on
No.
dialysis?
No,
Do you have any diabetes?
no,
Do you ever get bouts of hiccups?
no,
Okay. Do you have AFib, atrial fibrillation?
no,
Do you have tachycardia, fast heart rate, or bradycardia, slow heart rate?
no.
Do you have any joint problems at all? Any clickety noises or pain in your joints?
I have arthritis. I'm taking the Caltati.
Okay. All right. Do you have any varicose veins or spider veins or hemorrhoids?
No hemorrhoids, but I've had Varithena to 8 varicose veins in my legs, one a week.
Okay. All right. So I got the picture now. Okay. Did you have something else you wanted to offer before I suggested your program?
I have a question.
Okay.
About a week and a half ago, I had a very scary episode. I was bouncing against the walls. I couldn't sit down. I was calling out names. I was very disoriented. The paramedic came. He said, "What day of the week is it?" I don't know. Who's the president? I said, "Not Ronald Reagan." I was so disoriented, I couldn't even think. And my neighbors were so concerned. Okay, so they sat with me for a while. The same paramedic came 5 hours later. I was still out there. And I am asking you this question. Is it possible that because my body was depleted for so many years, whatever, and I was taking 2 capfuls of everything and the omegas, which probably don't make any difference. But if I was over giving my body too many vitamins to think about.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Your problem or the 5 pharmaceuticals you're taking. Okay. Okay. Your problem are the pharmaceuticals, not your vitamins and minerals.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I always find it amazing that people want to blame vitamins and minerals instead of their pharmaceuticals, because every one of those pharmaceuticals has side effects, and you're taking probably 2 or 3 of them that shouldn't be mixed together. All right.
What are they?
I don't know. I'd have to read everything about them. Some of those I've never heard of, and
Okay.
it'd take me a week to figure it all out. So we're not
Okay.
going to do that right now.
All right.
So Sam and I can work on that.
Mhm.
Okay, but at any rate, at 186 pounds, I want you to get rid of all the bad foods. You've heard this before.
know.
No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat proteins, no sugar, no
Here are
carbonated
the
drinks.
notes from your lectures, Dr.
Okay,
Wall.
come on, let him finish.
I
Okay,
already know.
stop.
Yeah.
If you want me to talk, then you can't keep interrupting me, because
Okay,
otherwise
I'm
I'm going
sorry, I
to go somewhere else.
apologize. Go ahead.
You got to have good manners, or I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay. So none of the bad foods. Then I want you to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. The full, and Sam is getting all this also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of everything twice a day. I want you to get 2 bottles a month of our MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. And they're designed to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, even in the blood vessels, skin, intestines, so forth. I want you to also the disc between the vertebrae, bone makes your bone itself. And then I also want you to take our Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want you to get 2 bottles a month there. So you can take 3 of those twice a day. They will support healthy blood pressure, healthy kidney function, and healthy blood flow through blocked arteries. Also, the COPD is usually a squeezing of the 10th cranial nerve and the recurrent branch of the 10th cranial nerve by osteoporosis of the skull. Do you have any tinnitus or ringing in the ears or vertigo or balance problems?
No.
Okay, good. All right. And so then I also want you to take, I said the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. I want you to take, because of the bipolar, I want you to have our de-stress capsules, take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month, and they will support healthy brain function. I also want you to get our Synaptive, get 2 bottles of our Synaptive, and it helps the brain cells make the biochemistry necessary for the brain cells to talk to their neighboring cells and communicate and all go the same direction. I want you to take, I want you to go ahead and take at least 3 of those twice a day. It'll be 2 bottles a month. And if finances are not a problem, I go with 3 times a day. That's the Synaptive. And that's also the de-stress before that. I also, let's see here, would like you to take, let's see here. Okay, let's go with that. I do want you to eat 3 eggs twice a day. Are you on statin drugs at all?
No.
Okay, good. I want you to eat 3 eggs twice a day. They cannot be fried. They cannot be hard boiled. They must be soft yolks, soft boiled, soft yolks, soft poached, soft yolks, soft scrambled butter. I like mine. I had mine this morning, every morning with, a soft scramble with they actually, and with butter, and they're runny. And I've been doing this, for 83 years now. No gluten and all the 90 essential nutrients, plus my 3 eggs twice a day.
I can't afford it.
Okay, over to you, Sam. Let's start out with
All right.
Sam. Sam?
All right, quick question I have. So I do the 3 eggs every morning. I just drink them raw, and I shake up in a shake with everything. And man, to me, that's satisfying. What do you feel about the raw eggs, Doc?
Is your nickname Rocky?
That's when I first started that. When I first saw that movie so many years ago. I was always powerlifting and lifting weights. Okay, I've been doing it again now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's okay as long as you're taking your supplements, because if
I
you're
take them with the supplements. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Drink them all down.
Okay. Anything else?
That was it. Appreciate you.
Okay. Appreciate you, Sam. Appreciate you, Barbara. Get back to me every 2 weeks. Let me know what's going on. We'll walk you guys through this. But the blood pressure should go away. The COPD should go away. The bipolar should go away. This is all very simple stuff.
I don't think I can afford all this stuff.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, even if you have to cut the dose, take a third, take a half. I can't use oxygen, so I just won't have any. Okay, Rebecca, who's next?
Well, let's not make it that. All right, Dr. Wallach. So next, let's go to the next hand up, and it is Mike. Mike, go ahead and unmute yourself, please. You are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Well, very good. Looking forward to it. Enjoy the program each week that I'm able to make it. Had a lot of trouble in the last couple of weeks. Bad audio, couldn't understand it on our end. Hopefully it didn't happen to yourselves. I've got 5 topical questions, comments from Dr. Wallach, if he would, and they all hinge around this familiar book.
I was looking down. Show me that familiar book.
This one right here, I just,
Oh, yeah, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. Okay, gluten.
yes. Just a general comment from your other observations, because I listen to your CDs and a lot of your products I have almost every day. And occurrence, I live out in the boonies, very isolated. And so I take my breaks on the local tank dam to see all the fisher birds come in to steal my frogs. And while I'm sitting there, we've got squirrels going through the
Okay,
trees
so
all the time.
what's your health question?
Well, the health question is the cooking, which I was just going to comment. The squirrel comes down and starts eating ashes.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're smarter than the average bear.
Well, I thought you would be amused because that's the first time I've seen them do that. But I said, yeah, I think of Dr. Wallach. Now, past that, with the cookbook, I immediately liked chapters 1, chapters 2, and then I went to eggs and paged through the eggs, which moves me down to I'm doing my eggs toast gluten-free on a cast iron little griddle, which is heavily carbonized, and it got carbonized from burnt fats. Is that the wrong surface to be working on?
Yeah, because you're going to get some inflammatory stuff. So you need to really get rid of all that carbonization, in that skillet or pan or whatever you want to call it. Okay.
Well,
and you need to really clean that puppy up.
How about stainless steel instead of cast iron?
Well, stainless steel is fine.
Okay, we'll move to that. Then the next thing in the book, it listed lard and butter burn temperature is 380 degrees, which I thought, oh, super, I'm glad to know that. So I immediately went out and bought this device, which has worked out very well. So infrared thermometer, so I can find out what the temperature is my butter that I'm melting it down with salt, because I poach my eggs with this device that's easy to access and see how well I'm cooking my eggs.
Okay, sounds like your meals are going to be very scientific. That's good.
And so anyways, the eggs are poached basically in a very cheap steam chamber that I happened to run across and thought it was very appropriate. So I like the cast iron and all that, but I figured what you were going to tell me is get rid of that carbonized surface.
Yeah, you got to clean it up. And of course, you leave it set overnight, put some, put a 1/4 of an inch of vinegar in it. The vinegar will kind of dissolve a lot of that carbonized stuff in the skillet.
Well, I agree. I use vinegar for cleaning up rust on tools.
Yep.
Okay, that's basically me. I just was very
well, thank you. Well, I appreciate all the good thing, and I appreciate you sharing your science approach to this.
Well, I really like the thermometer.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mike. All right, so Dr. Wallach, next, Rhonda is writing in the chat about her daughter-in-law who is 30 years old, 3 months pregnant, and fell and actually chipped the bone in her foot. She's wanting to know what can be recommended for a 30-year-old female, 3 months pregnant.
Wait a minute, she can't be 3 years old and pregnant.
30 years old, 3 months pregnant.
33.
30 years old.
Okay.
30 years and 3 months pregnant.
Okay.
But she broke her foot, so we're wanting to, help the healing and help.
Okay. Well, again,
yes.
and she's 100 and what pounds?
I think she's about 140 pounds, if I remember right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she has to decide if she's going to be breastfeeding that baby or she's going to use, a milk replacer. If she's going to be breastfeeding the baby at 3 months pregnant, the baby's already formed. I hope and pray she's been taking vitamins and minerals for 6 months before she got pregnant. Okay. I hope she hasn't just been eating well and not taking supplements prior to conception. Okay, because the baby's already formed at this point. And so you got what you got at this point, okay? So at 140 pounds, I want her to start out with 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month, half a dose of everything twice a day. There's not one big hit at one time, so it'll be a half a dose twice a day. The Ultimate Daily Classic, or excuse me, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Then I want her to also take the de-stress capsules, take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. I also would like her to take the MSM, take 3 of those twice a day. That's 1 bottle a month. And she can use, a little bit of Rebound. I wouldn't drink a whole dose at one time. I'd have her drink maybe a 25% of a dose of Rebound if she wants something to drink. I wouldn't be drinking soft drinks and that kind of stuff with all that sugar in them, and juices with all the sugar in them, and so on. And if she doesn't have any other issues, no high blood pressure, no diabetes, no arthritis, that'd be where we'll start. But we have secret sauces for, like 600 different diseases. Now, when she gets down to about 7 months of pregnancy, and she's, getting, obviously her breasts are beginning to develop, and she's thinking about breastfeeding, then she needs to increase to 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. And that's going to help make her milk with the proper amount of nutrients in it. We don't want that baby to have asthma or skin problems or kidney problems or heart problems. But she went, I don't know, she didn't say if she was taking prenatal vitamins or any supplements prior to conception. So we don't know that. Okay. It's very scary stuff. So at any rate, so let's go there, and then, let us know as she's welcome to ask questions anywhere along the line. But, we do need more information. And of course, we've given her some place to start.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. Now, Kiri has questions about sugars and sugar substitutes. I know removing sugar itself is part of, the Good Foods, Bad Foods eating program, but there are some things that call for sugar, even in the cookbook. So
yes,
what are your recommendations for sugar, Doc Wallach?
Well, I like natural sugars. I like honey. I like molasses, that sort of stuff. And, we don't have table sugar, the white table sugar within 3 miles of our house. It doesn't get that close because we don't want to attract any of the critters or people who want that stuff. So we keep it far away from it. Oh, we're not going to go there. There's no sugar. Okay. So that's what you want. You don't want any bad guys coming. And so you got to avoid the sugar. And you can actually eat very well with a drop or 2 of honey on something. You're not going to be eating bread because bread has gluten in it. All right. Rice, sweet potatoes with butter. Also, I like our pink Himalayan salt. Has 78 minerals in it. You can put that. I had that this morning on my sweet potatoes with butter in my breakfast. The pink Himalayan salt, and then tonight I'll have it with dinner. I'll have some wild rice, and not fried but steamed. I will also have, let's see here, I'll put butter on that wild rice along with the pink Himalayan salt, along with the lamb chops or a steak.
Yeah, I love getting some herbs, Dr. Wallach, and mixing it with the butter and putting it on my steak.
Well, yeah. Well, of course, we have the savor division. We have all these spices and stuff like that. If you want cooking spices and things you can put on your salads and stuff like that don't have gluten and sugar in them, go to our savor division, and it has all this stuff there. So you don't have to be inventing stuff and running around stores looking for it. You can do it from your little office in your kitchen or your little office in your office and at home. This is very easy. We try to cover all bases. And so I'll point you to our savor division to look at all of the things we have, the salad dressings, the sweeteners, the salt, and so on.
Yeah, we have an amazing assortment of spices that can be used on any types of food. And it's not just American food. We've got And in fact, I think they were actually put together down in Australia, and they incorporate all different types of cuisines. I think it's absolutely fabulous, fabulous. So I encourage you to look at those as well. Ruth Ellen, did you have a question for Dr. Wallach?
Yes, in the chat just came up a question that says, is brown rice syrup as a sweetener okay? So I just wanted to make sure, since we were talking about that, to include that.
Yeah, brown rice in all its forms are fine.
All right, thank you
Just
so
got to
much,
read the
Dr.
label.
Wallach.
Just read the label. Make sure they haven't added any wheat flour to it.
Got it. Perfect. Now let's go to Anita, who has her hand up, and she was actually the next question I had. So perfect, Anita. Go ahead and unmute. You're on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hey, hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
Hey, I have a couple of questions and then one little small one at the end. The first one is about my grandson. He's 10 years old, weighs 63 pounds, and is 4'5". In March of 2020, he had a seizure that lasted about 10 minutes, and they put him on the Brevact, anyway, a seizure drug, and he's been on it ever since. He didn't have any more seizures until last week when he had another one. He is on Beyond Tangy Tangerine, OsteoFX, and Ultimate Multi EFAs. And I was wondering what you would have to say more.
Okay.
about
Yeah,
that.
he needs the de-stress capsules.
Okay.
Okay, I'd have him take 2 or 3 of those twice a day. Okay, then I would also have him take the Synaptive. He can take 2 or 3 of those twice a day. And I also want him to take the Ultimate Niacin Plus, 1/2 of one twice a day. You know, break one in half. Give him half at breakfast, half at dinner time. If he takes a whole one, he might get a hot flash. Okay. But that's the direction I would go. And of course, don't forget the 90. Again, let's see here, say 63 pounds kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so he could, he could take a half a dose of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack a day and cut that in half. So he's taking a quarter of a dose twice a day. So that one Healthy Brain and Heart Pack will last him 2 months. Okay, at this weight. But he needs some nutrition for that brain.
Okay, with the selenium and both of the both EFAs.
Well, the selenium's in the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. My other question is this. I have 2 sons that have dealt with addiction, and one of them has read a book recently, and I think we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about this, but about psychedelic drugs. Okay, there's been a resurgence in that, is what I'm thinking. One of my sons that has dealt with addiction.
Okay, well, let me interrupt here.
Okay.
Anytime, what do these kids weigh? Are they overweight?
These are adult sons, 43 overweight, both overweight, 41 and 43, both overweight.
Both overweight, yeah. Okay, well, it goes with the addiction thing. Being overweight is a nutritional deficiency. You develop a behavior called pica, just can't stop eating. You eat, and you eat, and you eat, and you eat, and you eat. Because of these nutritional deficiencies, it drives you to look for food. And you can look it up in any dictionary, pica, P-I-C-A, just an insatiable appetite to keep eating. Even though you had a 5,000 calorie meal in 15 minutes, you want to eat again. After 15 minutes, you want to eat again. After 15 minutes, you want to eat again. You're eating 20 meals a day. That's why they're overweight. But also, they get tired of eating the same food. And so they try, well, how about a little alcohol here? I'll have a glass of wine with my dinner. And, oh, I'm feeling pretty good here, so I might want to have 2 glasses of wine a day instead of 1. And then after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, suddenly now they're addicted and they're drinking wine all day. Okay, because they're still nutritionally deficient. They still haven't dealt with that. And so these boys need to get on the keto diet, 1 meal a day. It doesn't have to be the same meal every day. 1 keto bar is going to take them 3 boxes. There's only 10 bars in a box. they need to take, well, 1 keto meal a day. And then they need, per 100 pounds of body weight, 1 healthy brain and heart pack. And every time they feel like they want to eat in between meals, they need to have, say, a shot of a rebound. Have a couple of gulps of rebound. No soft drinks, no sugar, no oatmeal for breakfast, no gluten, no wheat, bran, rye, oats. All that's got to go. Bread, all that's got to go. Beer, it's all got to go. Beer is made from gluten, except for rice beer made in certain countries and so forth. Okay, and so
Yeah.
all of these addictions go along with being obese, and that all goes along with being nutritionally deficient, which causes pica, which causes constant eating, and that doesn't satisfy them because they're still looking and looking and looking. But then they get a little satisfaction when they have some alcohol, either a beer or a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey or something. And so every hour they're going to have a shot of that because it keeps them sort of level, okay, as far as energy goes. But then, of course, after a couple of weeks of that, they get addicted to it, and then they got other trouble. Okay, but every time they want to have some alcohol, take a bite out of a keto bar. They're going to have to work at this, but they do need to take the 1 healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight, get those nutrients in them, and that pica will go away, and it'll be easy for them to lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. And also, after a while, every time they crave alcohol, take another shot of the minerals, just the plain plant-derived minerals.
Mhm.
Okay, third and last question.
Butters like almond butter, cashew butter, sunflower seed butter. What about those? We know peanut butter's not good.
Well, all those sorts of things do oxidize if they're not handled properly and cause problems. They can contribute to hardening of the arteries and all that kind of stuff. Okay, they can contribute to the cause of cancer. So it's not safe to deal with those because you don't know if they've been sitting on the store shelf for 3 months.
Yes.
Room temperature. You don't know anything about them.
Mhm.
All right. And so I kind of avoid all that stuff. The only one that's safe is butter. You can use cow's butter. You can use sheep butter, goat butter, llama butter. But butter is the safest one out of all those.
Okay. A lot of people will pour the oil off of the top of the almond butter and go ahead and eat it. But if it's been on the shelf,
but still, it'll pour the oil off, but it's still got oil in it. You understand?
yes. That's my argument.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody chooses their choice in life. And so they have to say, okay, 25 to 50 more years with my kids and grandkids and my wife or my husband is worth it to me, or to hell with it. I'm going to do what I want and eat what you want, and you'll die 25 years early.
Yep. That's right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. thank you. And Anita, did you ask? You did ask a question about your grandson. Never mind.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And so, I mean, sugar in itself can be an addiction. And I know I had an email that came in specifically about that, where the grandparents had been given them sugar since they were very little, with sodas and ices and Slurpees, and, which have the phosphoric acid, which she expects has contributed to her condition of, possibly from what she's been listening to, Dr. Wallach.
Also nutritional
tinnitus.
deficiencies, because she's been getting all the bad stuff and none of the good stuff.
Right. And now she's dealing with tinnitus and osteoporosis of the skull. She does want some recommendations from you. She is 66 years old. She's been a vegetarian since she was 22 and mostly vegan for the last 2 years. Now, with this sugar addiction, she realizes that she may need some magnesium and manganese, but I think he needs a lot more than that, right, Dr. Wallach?
Yeah. Okay. And she weighs how much?
It's a he, and if this person is the person I think it is about 240 pounds. at 5'11".
Okay, all right. Yeah, people who are sugar addicted is kind of it's the same thing as alcoholic addiction. Okay, and so when somebody wants to be a vegan, all right, be a vegan, but I want you to be let's see here. I want you to be an ovo-lacto pisco vegetarian. What is an ovo-lacto pisco vegetarian? Ovo is eggs. The only thing in an egg is an animal is that little 1 millimeter diameter white dot on top of the yolk. You take that off, say a prayer over it, and flush it down the toilet and bury them at sea. The yolk and the white of the egg is nothing but nutrition. Think about it. In 21 days, that in incubation, that little 1 millimeter diameter chick will eat all that yolk and all the white of the egg and get a heart and a liver and the kidneys and the brain and the eyes and digestive system and all the muscles and the bones and everything. There's a lot of nutrition in that egg. So I want this guy to have 3 eggs twice a day. I only weigh 142 and I have 3 eggs twice a day with soft yolks. Cannot be fried, cannot be hard boiled. Must be soft yolk, soft boiled, soft yolk, soft poached, soft yolk, soft scrambled butter. Then I want this guy at 240 pounds. He's right at that cusp. If finances are not an issue, I want him to have 3 healthy brain and heart packs a month, a full dose of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If finances are an issue, do not go lower than 2 healthy brain and heart packs, a full dose of breakfast and dinner. Then I want him to have 2 bottles a month of the MSM. So you take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time, and they will support and promote maintenance, repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between a vertebrae, bone, mixture, bone and cell. I also want them to have the de-stress capsules, 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And I want to have our rebounder sports drink. Now, also, that is, of course, we talked about the ovo, the eggs, and then the lacto is cheese and milk and that kind of stuff. What's the first food, Rebecca? Whether a whale or a human being or a giraffe or a rhinoceros or a porpoise or a gorilla, what is the first food of a newborn baby mammal?
Mother's milk.
Milk.
Yeah.
Milk cannot be bad for you. Okay. So anybody who tells you milk is, oh, see, doctors get after fat or milk because of the fat in it. Oh, they said milk fat is going to cause plaque in your arteries. That's crapola. That is not true. You want to be drinking, I eat cheese every meal and I drink milk maybe once or twice a day, but I have cheese with every meal. Okay, if I have a hamburger, I have cheese on it. If I have our gluten-free pizza, which I have 3 or 4 days out of every week for dinner and our breakfast, I have 4 different cheeses on it. That's my lacto part. And then the pisco is fish. There's no red meat in fish. Duh. There's no red meat in fish. So 2/3 of the mornings, I will have wild Alaska river salmon that's smoked. And then I also have let's see here, the little fish, herring and stuff like that packed in water, not oil, in
So like
cans.
sardines.
They're like
packed in
sardines,
water?
packed in water rather than oil. And so you have your choice. And that way you're not getting all the bad stuff. But you do need some animal protein. You need some animal minerals and all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to be a successful vegan, you got to be an ovo-lacto pisco vegan. Okay.
All right. Thank you
But
so
don't
much for
forget,
that.
you still need the supplements.
Absolutely. Now, we had another question that came up in regards to gluten-free flours. Are there certain flours that need to be avoided other than those that contain gluten?
The flours that need to be avoided, they're made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. There are no such things as gluten-free oats. They sell them gluten-free oats because the gluten in oats has a different name. It's called gliadin, but it's still gluten. So if it has gluten-free oat flour in it, no. Package it up and give it to your doctor with love. Like the movie To Russia with Love. Okay.
Yes,
You get the drift.
Definitely. Now let's
Okay.
go to the next one. Let's go to the next
Okay.
hand up. Dr. Wallach, and as Christy is becoming unmuted, I just want to remind everybody that this program is being brought to you by AskDocLive.com, get back with the person that invited you to watch this program, whether it's live or the replay, doesn't matter. Get back with them to get information on how to order product. If you have never spoken to anybody about longevity or the products that Dr. Wallach is recommending today, feel free to use askdoclive.com. We do have a full store there available and waiting for you. If you don't know exactly what you need, go ahead and use the contact us, and one of our certified holistic health coaches will be getting back with you with information on what you need specifically for what you're going through. Now, we do have a call team as well that you can reach out to. Again, is for those who have never spoken with anybody else in regards to longevity. That number is 855-949-7234. All right, Christy, you are on live with Dr. Wallach.
Hi, Dr. Wallach.
Hi.
This is just an update. I've been on your program for 2 months now. My original call was for my optic nerve atrophy, cellophane retinopathy. My alternate problems, sciatica, age spot is better. Age spots are disappearing. I feel better. I better have a better mental attitude, but I still have tinnitus, and my optic nerve atrophy. I haven't
Okay.
noticed a difference in that.
Okay. How much do you weigh?
106,
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'2", age 71.
Okay. All right. None of this is from aging. This is all due to nutritional deficiencies and the fact that you've gotten some benefit, saying you're absorbing, but I want you to really, really make sure that yourself and your roommates and relatives and everybody living in the same house with you need to be drop dead gluten-free, no wheat, butter, and oats. So you're not cross-contaminated in the laundry and the food preparation surfaces and the couches and the beds, and you know the drill. And so then I want you to make sure that you're taking the let's see here, at 106 pounds, I want you to have 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. Get another bottle of our selenium, so you can take 6 of our selenium a day. It could be 2, 2, and 2, or 3 and 3, whatever is easier for you. But then a half a dose of everything in that, except for the selenium, the half a dose of everything in that healthy brain and heart pack at breakfast, and half a dose at dinner time. And then I also want you to have 1 bottle a month of because of the sciatica, I want you, and the fact that the age spots are going away, that's a good sign. I want you also to take 1 bottle a month of our MSM. So you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner time. And they will support and promote maintenance, repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between a vertebrae, bone makes your bone itself. I also want you to get some of our Cal Toddy. It does have a lot of magnesium in it. Some people are sensitive to magnesium. If you overdo it, you'll get diarrhea, but start out low. As somebody who's 106 pounds, I would start out with just a teaspoon of the Cal Toddy at breakfast. Start out with that. And after a week, if you don't have diarrhea or something like that, then go to a teaspoon at breakfast, a teaspoon at dinner time of the Cal Toddy. So that 1 quart's going to last you about 3 months. Okay, the Cal Toddy. It's got extra calcium, extra vitamin D3, extra collagen. That way, instead of taking 3 products, you just take 1. That's going to help you a little bit financially, and also just from the standpoint of convenience. Okay. Then let's see here. I do want you to take 1 of our eye products. I would go with the Vision FX. You can go ahead and take 2 of those twice a day. So 1 bottle should last you 2 months of the Vision FX. And so let's go there. And then call us every couple of weeks. We'll walk you through this. But all these things are caused by nutritional deficiency, and all these things are easy to go away. The quickest one will be the sciatica, the tinnitus ringing in the ears, and the ONA optic nerve atrophy. The tinnitus, you'll just be walking on one day and say, you know, I got it. I don't have that tinnitus anymore, because it'll go and go and go. And then 1 minute, it stops. But you got to keep on the program. When it stops, you can't stop the program, because within a month or 2, you'll be back to where you were.
Well,
Okay.
the one I'm worried about most is the optic nerve atrophy.
Okay. Well, that's also caused by the skull, osteoporosis of the skull, squeezing the optic nerve, the optic artery, and the optic vein. because they all have to pass through the skull, from the brain through the skull to the back of the eye, and from the back of the eye back into the skull with the optic vein. And all that's getting squeezed, just like your auditory branch of the eighth cranial nerve is being squeezed, causing the tinnitus, the ringing in the ears. Do you have anything going on in your hands or wrists at all?
Not anymore.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Yeah, your skull was
Well,
squeezing your
yes,
spinal cord.
A little
Yeah.
bit in my hand, yeah, but not anymore. So I
Yeah.
know it's working. It's just,
Okay, good.
it's just
Okay.
I'm impatient.
Okay, well, thank you for the update and the testimony.
Okay, thank you.
But call us every couple of weeks, because you're going to have a great testimony, and your story, Chrissy, is going to help so many people.
Thank you.
That's fantastic, Christy. I know how good it feels not to have carpal tunnel anymore. So I'm celebrating with you on that one for sure. So Dr. Wallach, the next question is from Pamela, and she says, I'm lactose intolerant. At a young age, I was put on dry skim milk by the doctors. Is there a difference between dry milk and regular milk?
Yeah, regular milk is a liquid and dry milk is a powder.
As far as nutritionally?
I don't think there's as much fat in the dry milk. I think they have scooped off the fat. Okay.
Yeah, most
so
of the time, it's non-fat dry milk, and it's that good fat that we need.
Well, the good fat has vitamin A and D and E in it. And so you're not getting vitamin A, D, and E in the dry milk, because these are fat soluble vitamins. So when you skim off the fat, you're skimming off those fat soluble vitamins.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for that. And next, I want to see if we can get Charlotte to come on with us. So Charlotte had a neuroma. It was very painful. She wants to know what vitamins she needs, but she had surgery to have the neuroma removed a year ago.
Where was this neuroma located?
Well, as I'm reading here, that's one of the questions that I don't see the answer to, that I know is very important. So,
okay. Well, let's see.
So here, Charlotte is here with us, Dr. Wallach. So Charlotte, please go ahead. Dr. Wallach has some questions for you, and let's get them answered.
Okay.
Okay, where's this neuroma located? Is it on a foot or a hand or an elbow or a shoulder?
My right foot, between the second and third metatarsal.
Okay. Now, do you have anything going on in your low back? Do you have any sciatica in your low back?
No sciatica. I have a little pain once in a while lately, but that's it.
Okay, low back, a little bit. Are you coloring your hair, wearing a wig, or is that your normal hair color?
This is a cap. I'm just cold. I got a warm cap on, and I do color my hair, yes.
Okay, so you do have some, gray or white or silver in your hair.
Yes.
Do you have any varicose veins or hemorrhoids?
No.
Okay, no spider veins, nothing?
No.
Okay, what do you weigh?
154.
154?
I'm 5'10", and I'm 65.
Okay, do you have any other issues? How about pressure, diabetes?
I have colon problems. I've had ulcerative colitis.
Okay, and then do you have any skin issues at all?
No.
Do you have any tinnitus, ringing in the ears?
No.
Do you have any balance problems or vertigo, dizziness?
No.
Okay, good. No AFib, no heart problems?
I had 2.5 years ago, I had my heart had a murmur. I had the strands that had to be repaired on my mitral valve.
Okay, so they did an open heart surgery, or did they do it through the veins? And
They did open heart surgery. It was awful.
okay, and so it was a valve problem?
Yes, it was a leaky valve.
Okay, so that means your heart was big and the valve leads weren't meeting properly. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so you had an enlarged heart, which is a nutritional deficiency. All right, so here we go. You need to get rid of all the bad foods. You know this, but this is also for the rest of the listeners who are hearing your story. So no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, butter, rye, and oats, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. And even the diet one's got to go. 154 pounds, you're right on that cusp because you had heart surgery. I'd have you take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, a full dose of everything twice a day. When you get 2 bottles a month of our MSMs, you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. And they're going to support and promote maintenance repair of heart valves, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone mixture, bone itself, blood vessel walls, arteries, and veins, and so forth. Then I also want you to have our vitamin D3. Go ahead, take 3 of those twice a day. It's 2 bottles a month. And let's see here. I do want you to, obviously the colon thing, I want you to have our killer biotic. Take 3 of those twice a day. That's the reishi mushrooms and I don't know, 6 other mushrooms in there that are anti-inflammatory and pain relieving. But it's imperative that you stay away from the gluten because all these issues are either directly to or secondary to gluten problems. Okay. And this is all resolvable. When your hair problem, let's see here. It wouldn't hurt to go ahead and take 3 of our hair, skin, and nails. Take 3 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. And that will speed up the hair color coming back. That tells you, because it's a red warning signal that, you know, you've already had a heart issue. We don't want an aneurysm in your rupturing in your brain and your heart, your AR and stuff like that. And so you really need to do all this stuff because you've already been warned and you survived it, which is a miracle. And so we want to not fall backwards. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could I ask one more thing? Whenever about 2.5 years ago, I was raking some leaves and something like clicked in my body, my right side of my body, like sagittally down the center, the right side. I have this peripheral coldness and it seems like it comes from my foot, from the neuroma. And I'm freezing cold like most of the time.
Well, it goes the other direction because have you shrunk any in height?
I don't know. I haven't measured.
What happens is as you get degenerative discs, the vertebrae get closer together. They smash the roots of the spinal nerves that originate from your lumbar area, your low back, and they go down your legs. And so when those nerves get pinched, as they're leaving your spinal cord to go down your leg, they get pinched. You get all these peripheral neuropathy symptoms. You get cold, you get tingling, numbness, pain, all this kind of stuff. And it comes and goes and be different. You have hammer toes and all kinds of weird stuff going on. And people want to treat the foot, but it's really the back. You understand?
Okay. And it can just be one side, like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be one side. It's kind of like everything else. You can have neuropathy in one foot and hammer toe in one foot and the other foot's okay.
Yeah.
Because when your disc shrinks, it doesn't shrink symmetrically. It might shrink more on one side than the other. So you have more things going on that side where it's shrinking more. Okay.
Okay.
But it's a good question. Very good question.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for coming on with that. Now, you had gone a little bit into hair loss, but we also have a question in regards to hair loss that could be associated with hypothyroidism. Now, I don't have any specifics other than female. So if you were working with somebody that had hypothyroidism and was experiencing lots of hair loss at 100 pounds, Dr. Wallach, what would be the recommendation?
Okay.
Of course, we want to get rid of all the bad foods. Get rid of the bad foods.
Okay. And of course, age has nothing to do with it. All right. And so you have to appreciate that when you're deficient in nutrients, there's going to cause you thyroid issues. The odds are you're deficient in other nutrients are going to cause other problems. So it may not be directly related to the thyroid issue. All right. And so at 100 pounds with thyroid issues for hair, well, I take people that have been like a bowling ball. I mean, no hair, like a bowling ball for 40 years. And in 3 weeks time, they're starting to grow back hair. And in 3 months time, they got a full head of hair again after 40 years of no hair. It works every time. So none of the bad foods, as you said, and then at 100 pounds, I'm going to have the big hammer out of the toolbox, one healthy brain and heart pack, get another bottle of our Slims. There's 1 bottle of Slim in the healthy brain and heart pack. So I want to get another bottle of Slim. So I can take 6 a day, 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner time, at 100 pounds, say 2, 2, and 2. Then they need the hair, skin, and nails. Go ahead and take 3 of those twice a day. And then I would also have them take the Fucoid Z, take 3 of those twice a day, 2 bottles a month, and the Ocean's Gold from the other ocean, take 3 of those twice a day, be 2 bottles a month. So that'll take care of all issues, including the thyroid issues and the hair issues. Okay.
All right, perfect. And since we're talking about hair, Dr. Wallach, Yvonne got her hair analysis back, and now she doesn't know how to read all the information. Could you give us some recommendations there on how to get information about reading your hair analysis?
Well, the nice thing about it, they have these, what should I say, presentations in there, and they have these horizontal lines, and it shows you if you get down below this horizontal line, that means you're not absorbing very much. There's 2 horizontal lines from about 25% up from the bottom and 25% down from the top. If your numbers for the various minerals are in there, you're good. If you, for instance, and sometimes it'll be the calcium and the magnesium are just off the roof, and doctors, oh, you can't take any more calcium, you're taking too much calcium. That doctor should be put in jail. What's happening is the parathyroid glands are pulling more calcium out of the bones because you're severely calcium deficient, and the parathyroid glands are overreacting and pulling so much calcium out is showing up in the hair analysis. Okay, it's not that you're supplementing with too much calcium, it's your parathyroid glands are overworking. Okay, so don't quit taking calcium. Tell the doctor to go to you know where and get another doctor. All right, because that doctor doesn't know how to read laboratory work. They should suspend his license until he goes back to school, he or she. Okay, and then there's another graph which shows toxic metals, and the same thing is true. You want all the toxic metals to be below that bottom line, and not even showing up at all is best. But as long as they're below that bottom line, they're not into levels that are going to impact you. But once they get above that first bottom line, and you start seeing the lead, mercury, arsenic, all that kind of stuff above the bottom line, that means you got to work at it. And what you do is you get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown, rye, so you can absorb stuff. And then you do a detox. You do the 90 essential nutrients, the healthy brain and heart pack. And then I would throw in the herbal rainforest, 13 cleansing herbs, okay, and 78 minerals, herbal rainforest, and take 2 doses a day. And then 3 months later, do another hair analysis. You will see that all those toxic minerals are dropping, which is good. And so I do a hair analysis once a year because I travel so much, and who knows what you're going to pick up in the local foods and around the world and so forth. So I do a hair analysis once a year, and because I have my little business model that my longevity business will pay for my health insurance. My longevity business will pay for my hair analysis, my special dietary needs, including all my supplements. They're all tax deductible.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. And when you go on trips and you meet with distributors, you can write off the trip.
Legitimately write off the trip. Absolutely.
Yes, it's awesome. Awesome. Well, we are at the top of the hour, Dr. Wallach, and on behalf of myself and Jonty McCollier and Nasima Omar and Ruth Ellen Sanchez, we are honored and we are so thankful that you are able to take this 2 hours and be with us, be a resource that we can share with others. And please, everybody, share this program with others. Get with the person that invited you, get the information and the ordering options that you need in order to get what you can feed your body with confidence that it's getting the nutrients it needs so it can thrive. Again, my name is Rebecca Kozak. You are watching Ask Doc Live, and we are here for you. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. God bless. Bye-bye, team.
Thank you, Doc.